This is ESBR Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Niall. Once again, we have done the reaction to the weigh-in of Florian Marco and Chris Congo. This is all about Fabio Wardley and Frazer Clarke. The big heavyweight dust-up main event Sunday night, O2 Arena in London. British and Commonwealth heavyweight titles on the line. Massive, massive fight. Now, one I'm really looking forward to. Someone's always got to go. Tomorrow night, we'll come on to predictions at the end, but just looking the way in there, mate. Your any initial thoughts on the way in?
I thought demeanor wise, I thought they both looked very focused and relaxed. I thought Clark looked very relaxed, smiling before he stepped on the scales. I thought which was good to see. And Wardley laser focused as always. In terms of weights, it's interesting to see Clark down at, I think it's the lightest he's been since his pro debut. 19 stone even, which is still still big. He's still a specimen of a fighter, but I think for this one, for how this one's going to play out on his route to victory, I think shaving that weight off is going to help him. So that's good to see. I think as you mentioned, we get on to predictions, but he has to win this on points. I think that's his best chance. So I think coming in lighter is good. And Wardley, yeah, Wardley looked good. I think they both looked in good shape. So yeah, no complaints there really from either man, to be honest.
Yeah, it's interesting, mate, what you've said there. I think Fraser Clark, I think 19 stone even he weighed in at, so a few pounds lighter than his last fight against Dave Allen. You look at uh, Fabio Wardley, and he was I think he weighed a few pounds more, but kind of in the general region of where we thought they were probably going to be. So I'm not really reading too much into the weights. I think it's interesting what you've said there about the about Fraser Clark and maybe coming in lighter because potentially and maybe in quite a lot of people's eyes, his biggest chance of winning this is on points using his boxing, superior boxing ability, IQ and his experience, obviously, albeit in the amateur ranks, compared to Wardley, who's what he's won 16 consecutive fights via knockout. I'm pretty sure the only one he didn't win was his first one. So
Yeah.
there's no secret as to what Fabio Wardley's coming in to do. Looking at the face off, mate, after they both weighed in. Can you read in anything to that? There was no fisticuffs clearly like we saw again in Congo and Marku, but very professional. Both men obviously very confident. Do you read anything into that? Do you give either man the edge there?
No, it's as you say, it was a very hard one to call. Both laser focused and unlike the one we just discussed with Marco and Congo, totally opposite, fully focused here. There is an edge there. There is needle as we've seen in the past in the build up with this one, but fully focused now. Time for talking is over. So yeah, it's can't read much into anything of who looked away first or who blinked first, if you will. It's just it's hard to kind of read too much into that. But yeah, I enjoyed the respectful kind of focus of that face off after the tempers flaring and the one for the co-main event. So yeah, in terms of face off now, I can't really give any man the edge there, to be honest with you.
And obviously, this is a way in reaction, but there's not really much more we can kind of talk about. Both men in shape, looked well. Both men obviously supremely confident as well. There's not really much else we can read into. It's also different, isn't it, for heavyweights now when they're weighing in because they don't have to make weight.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
always a bit different. Like obviously, you can tell if someone's taking it more seriously. Looking at previous fights and how they look in the scales compared to their opponent. But at least at heavyweight, it's not like, oh, geez, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
skip not gonna eat anything for 24, 48 hours and only have minimal bits of water. And then you know what I mean. It's not like that, I suppose. So we kind of can't really talk too much more about the actual weight making. Looking at the fight, obviously, I think a lot of people obviously have Fabio Wardley as the favorite, as do the bookies. Completely understand why that's the case. But do you think that Fraser Clark perhaps being overlooked here? I'm not looking for you to give your prediction and all or anything now, but do you think that people are maybe writing him off here?
Totally. To be honest with you, it's a good point. I really do. Like you said, Wardley is the favourite, and understandably so. I'm a big Fabio Wardley fan. I think he brings excitement every time he's in the ring. So I always look forward to whatever card he's fighting on. I always think he's kind of must see, but it's a credit and it's a testament to Fabio Wardley that he's got himself into this position to be the favourite over somebody like Frazer Clarke. You know, to come from the white collar background and do what he done, pick up British and Commonwealth titles in emphatic fashion, you know, to put himself as in the position of favourite over a decorated amateur like Clarke is absolute testament to him. Like I know Clarke is definitely being overlooked. He has flattered to deceive in the pro game so far, I think it's fair to say. But you know, he's still come through kind of no fuss in all his fights. But I do definitely think he's being overlooked in this one, quite significantly to be honest. But as I say, Wardley is fully kind of deserving of the favourite tag here for me, to be honest.
Going off what they've done in the pro game, you do have to make Fabio Wardley the favourite. 100%. I
Yeah.
completely agree. Doesn't surprise me at all, but I do agree with what you've said there. I think he is being somewhat overlooked. Big phrase.
Yeah.
You're doing the final predictions for this, aren't you?
Yeah, myself
I'm
and
not going to
Greg.
ask you. I'm not going to ask you for an official final prediction. Although, guys, if you're watching, do go and check that out in the channel. That'll go live on Sunday morning / Sunday afternoon, as well as our final predictions for the co-main event, Florian Marku against Chris Congo. So be sure to check out the channel for all of that and plenty more content around this fight and this card, as well as I'm going to be in Belfast tonight. So please do check out all of the content on the channel. But now going back to this one, we're all about Wardley Clarke. Without giving your prediction away, because obviously you're doing the final predictions, and I'll let you do it then. Um, do you think do you think that what you said earlier about the game plan and Frazer Clarke coming in earlier, do you think that if Clarke is to win, it's going to have to be on points, or do you see any way in which he could stop Fabio Wardley?
I suppose there is a chance, of course, when you're kind of talking about heavyweight boxing and a 19 stone specimen like Frazer Clarke, there's always a chance that he could stop Wardley. But I think, you know, there's a high percentage chance that he has to win this on points. You know, he has to use that amateur schooling and that IQ to kind of expose Fabio Wardley's shortcomings. And then on the other hand, I can't see any way that Wardley wins this on points. I think Wardley only has one way to win this. It's by KO. To be honest, he's not going to outbox Frazer Clarke at all. So I think the two of them have only one way to win this kind of, you know, one highly likely way they're going to win this. So yeah, I think Clarke has to be points. You know, that the amateur background on Wardley, it's the power, the aggression. So yeah, that's what makes it so fascinating. Like I can't wait for this one. I've been looking forward to this one all week. I really have. Especially with it being on a Sunday, you know, bank holiday Sunday. It's a nice little treat to look forward to, and yeah, great fight. I can't wait. I really can't.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. As I'm not doing final predictions, I may as well give mine here, give the people what they want. And this might be going against the grain, but I've said all along that Frazer Clarke wins this fight. Method of victory, I was probably leaning towards points or a late stoppage. After seeing the weigh-in, I'm more confident that he does win on points, Frazer Clarke. So I would, if I would put in a bet on, that is my final prediction: Frazer Clarke to beat Fabio Wardley by decision. However, a late stoppage wouldn't surprise me, and similarly, it would not surprise me one bit if Fabio Wardley won early. You know, I'm not, but I do, but genuinely believe. All joking aside, I think yes, Frazer Clarke hasn't looked as good as Fabio Wardley in the pro game, but I ultimately think he'll win this fight. Guys, that's all we have time for now. Appreciate your time as always, mate. Be sure to check out the rest of the channel of all our content. If you're watching, and yeah, speak to you again soon now.
Cheers. Take care.